am early by 3 minutes, but I thought I'd hop on here and play the Itsy Bitsy Spider. I've learned 7 songs with numbers because I can't read notes. So I numbered my drum with the notes and bought a music book. 70 simple songs for the 8-note tongue drum. So if you hop on, say hello, where you're from. I'm gonna do this for 2 minutes until some people hop on here to share about shame, vulnerability, and belonging. So here I go, the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Hey guys, how are you? Hop on. I'm playing Itsy Bitsy Spider. I'm teaching myself how to play. Hey guys, hop on and hop off. This is so funny. Anyways, I'm gonna play and for 1 more minute and then I'm gonna start talking. I hope y'all can join me. It's gonna be a great night talking about shame, which everybody has and nobody wants to talk about it. That's why it's a deadly silent killer. So here's my Itsy Bitsy Spider one more time. Hey guys, if you hop on, say your name, where you're from. I am Sharon, Fun Outgoing Me, or Sharon Sparkle. All the above. I'll wait a few more minutes. It's 8:14. My ladies that show up know I go at 8:15, so I'll wait. Hey guys, if you hop on, I'm learning how to play the tongue drum, and I put numbers on it to follow music. Marsha's like, Sharon, you need to do some yoga spa music, not children's tunes, but that's where I'm starting. Oh. How you guys? Hi. I'm playing an Itsy Bitsy Spider. How are y'all? Just playing here. Hey guys, if you're hopping on, say hello. It's 8:15. I'll wait till somebody hops on. I'm gonna share about connection, vulnerability, acceptance, and shame, and belonging to your own heart. And that can't happen if you're full of shame and should've, could've, would've. So it's gonna be a deep subject. And it's really, though, when you have clarity and you own it, it takes away the power of shame. And then we can have empathy from others when we share our stories, because fear and shame says to be quiet. And it wasn't until I started saying the naming what I had gone through, it took the power away. And so I'm gonna talk about that. Hey, Cherry. Hey guys, how are y'all? I'm gonna play one more time, and then I'll talk about acceptance, belonging to your own heart, shame and what it does to us, and about perfectionism and belonging to your own heart, which if you're full of shame, you're not gonna belong to your own heart. So I'm gonna play the Itsy Bitsy Spider one more time. Hey guys, I'm learning how to play the tongue drum. I'm teaching myself. I've learned 7 songs in less than a week with this little musical notebook. I bought the tongue drum to just kind of like do my own thing, which I still do. So I just messing around in the evening like that, and it kind of is like a meditation type thing for me. And I thought, you know what? I want to learn how to play songs. I bet you I could do that if I tried. So I numbered my tone drum with the notes 1 through 8. And this, I've learned 7 songs. So this is 1. Wait a minute. That last part is so hard for me because their numbers are spaced and I don't know music, so you got to learn to song. Some of them are together and some of them are apart. So that's the Itsy Bitsy Spider. And the other one I learned that was really, really hard is Old MacDonald Had a Farm. So I'm going to do that one time and then I'm going to start talking. If you're on, say hello and tell me your name. And I'll do this and I'll start talking. Amen. Hard. All those 5s. It's hard. This one is the hardest one with all these number 5s. And if you go too much, but look at all the 5s on here. Those 5s, and you gotta like know the song. So anyways, thank you for joining me. If you hop on, tell me your name. I'm gonna read something in a book that I've gotten 3 of these books. What's that called? It's a tongue drum. See, they look like tongues. And this is tuned to the note G. And so I wrote on here, it's listed down here, the ABC. And so, but this is learned by number, because I don't know my notes, but I know my numbers. So, and again, I didn't think when I got it, I just wanted to learn a new instrument. And I was waiting until what spoke to me, and this tongue drum meant for me to have it. I was at the beach with Marcia, and it was my birthday. And so I saw it, I'm like, I want to learn how to play that. And so when I'm just by myself, and I always lose the little thingy, Sadie's about chewed this up. It's a little kid's, it's got a little animal in there. And so Amazon has those, yes. So I just, when I'm with myself, I just get going. Music as you go. I can't wait to get mine. You getting one? No way. Really? So anyways, just go and play your own. And you gotta find your rhythm, and when you hear something like a riff, you gotta remember what notes you did to get there. Then you just keep repeating it. But then, like I said, I bought this book and started playing music. So I've learned 7 songs. I keep sending them to my boys, my grown men. Are You Sleeping? Happy Birthday, Jingle Bells, Old MacDonald, Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Oh, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is really fun, and the Itsy Bitsy Spider. So anyways, I'll put my drum up. I want to talk about the language of letting go and how powerful this book is. It's by Melody Beattie, The Language of Letting Go Journal, a meditation book and journal for daily reflection. And it kind of goes through the 7 steps. And so I've bought 3 of these, and I try to get one each year. But then this year I thought, you know what? There's many days that I don't do it. So this year I'm going to my blank pages and I'm doing those. But I like to, I write and journal and read a lot, but I like to put my dates on it. So when I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's sometimes I've read it for the 3rd time and it finally makes sense to me. So I'm going to read about acceptance, because it's until you accept you did what you did when you did it, there's no belonging to your own heart if you can't own it. And it's hard to own it because then we have to admit what we did and didn't make good choices. But that's where you take away the power that shame has over people. It's like a death grip on women, men too. But anyways, Brene Brown, I love her. That's another book. So it says acceptance. So much of our anguish is created when we resist. So much relief, release, and change are possible when we simply accept. We waste our time, expend our energy, and make things harder by resisting, repressing, and denying. Repressing our thoughts will not make them disappear. Think them, let them come into reality, and then release them. A thought is not forever. If we don't like it, we can think another or change it. But to do that, we must accept and release the first thought. And that's what kept me tied to my pain of these past 8 years of things I've gone through. I didn't accept it. I blamed. I was a victim, and I blamed, and I blamed. And then you get defensive, and it's just like this self-perpetuating victim cycle. So you must accept and release it first. No matter how uncomfortable you might deem our feelings, resisting them will not set us free from them. Instead, they will swirl inside us, torment us, and make us sick. In the final analysis, all we really are called on to do is accept our feelings. Feelings are for the present moment. The more quickly we can accept a feeling, the more quickly we can move on to the next. Resisting or repressing thoughts and feelings does not turn us into the person we think we should be. It puts us in resistance to reality and does not change things. So the reality was I made some poor choices. And if I didn't accept that and own it, I was the victim. I would blame what was done to me. So acceptance turns us into the person we are and we want to be. Acceptance empowers the events and circumstances to turn around for the better. Acceptance does not mean surrendering to the will of another. It does not mean commitment. It is for the present moment. It does not mean accepting abuse or mistreatment. It does not mean foregoing our boundaries, hopes, or dreams. It means we accept what is, so we are free to change and grow. And that's how my growth has happened, especially the past 2 to 3 years, is I'm owning things now instead of shipping them off to other people, because you stay stuck and actually you start going backwards. And it's a vicious cycle about, it just torments us. Our mind, to our mouth, to our heart, to our ears, to our heart. Shame keeps you in isolation, that nobody's gone through this before, which is just not true. Acceptance and surrender moves us forward. Force does not. So the more I forced things down in my life, the worse I got. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. And so this is a really good book. It's such a simple, easy read. I try to do it each day in the evening, and then it has a little bit to write. And like I said, she also has written, which I've read, Codependent and Codependent No More. So those are really good books. If you grew up with codependency, victimhood mode, it's like a disease, and you really have to work on it. And I've been brought through so much, and I still have to watch. I think even since I've been doing my lives, I put that spin on it, like what was done to me, instead of what I brought. I always say, when I was helping some friends out, especially with dating and relationships, with women go off on what was done to them, and I always tell them that we bring 50% to the relationship. And so you're not going to learn. I didn't learn what I was doing wrong if I kept blaming the person I was with. And so, anyways, this book, I don't know who's read it. Brene Brown is the Atlas of the Heart. And it talks about so many emotions. And I just got done reading the one on shame and perfectionist. But I forget how many they are, but it's a really cool book that talks about places we go when things don't go as planned. Boredom, disappointment, expectations, regret, discouragement, resignation, frustration. This is the one I just finished reading. Places we go when we're hurting. Anguish, hopelessness, despair, sadness, and grief. But this one I've read, I had to read the whole chapter again, is places we go with others. Compassion, pity, empathy, sympathy, boundaries, comparative suffering. And so this is just a book full of good stuff. This is going to be out on my shelf so I can identify what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. And it's just, I read all her books, Brene Brown. When I was in counseling 8 years ago, the first book she suggested to me was Daring Greatly. And it took me a while to get around to it, but I found it and I forgot she had suggested it. So once I started reading Brene Brown's books, I started with Daring Greatly. I got them all on audio because she narrates them all but one. And so if you've ever heard her talk, she's on TED Talk. She's had a Netflix show about belonging to your own heart. And we can't belong to our own heart if we're walking around in shame. Shame says we hide our shame because we think we deserve to feel that way. And so shame keeps us isolated. What does your journal call it again? Hey girl, thanks for joining me. The Language of Letting Go journal. The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. And like I said, I've done this 3 times, and there's times, and I write in it, so it's good to see where I've been and whatnot. This book has helped me tremendously, and it's so easy to do daily. And so I got stuck in shame to where it was choking the life out of me with mistakes I'd made while I was single after my divorce. And it was choking the life out of me because I wasn't owning it. I wasn't accepting it. I was pointing the finger and blaming what they did to me instead of what I brought. Like, why was I with them to begin with? It's what I needed to be asking myself. So that relationship that ended when I was ill, it's a gift. It hurt, but it's a gift because it's there to teach us. If I didn't understand the gift of what happened with that man when I was in the hospital and he took a lot of my money, well, it's so hard to say, well, I was with him after 1 week of talking on the phone. And nobody wants to admit that out loud. And yet that's me owning me. And it takes the power off of what he did to me. Rather, what was I doing? Why would I allow that in my life to begin with? And I think for women who go down the rabbit hole of dating, we draw to us what we are about. Our energy, which I was broken, and I was definitely deep in shame. We hide shame because we think we deserve to feel that way. So I hid my shame that I was aligning myself with this guy for a year. So I didn't want to talk about it because of what people will think, which is perfectionism. But it's the craziest thing because when I owned it and said it out loud, God gifted me with an angel to share it with, and I painted about my dysfunction, a lot of my paintings. And it was as if it comes out, it takes the power off the shame that's choking us. But we think we're going to die of humiliation, or what will people think? And that's where empathy comes in. Empathy, when you're around other people that are safe people, give you empathy. And so that's a beautiful thing I've learned in relationships. So where does that page go? I marked it. So that gift of the relationship was there to teach me something. I was just passing through. That wasn't a place I was supposed to dwell and camp out in. But when you let shame take a hold of things we did or didn't do, you stay stuck. And if you continue dating, you're going to attract the same abuse, the same stuff from the same men, because you walk in shame with your head down. This is what I deserve. I deserve crappy men. And they're going to find you because you wear it. You wear it when you don't own yourself and own what happened to you. And so this book, oh my goodness. Perfectionism is self-destructive and addictive belief system that fuels this primary thought. If I look perfect, live perfectly, work perfectly, and do everything perfectly, I can avoid or minimize the painful feelings of shame, judgment, and blame. And so it leads to depression, anxiety, addiction, and life paralysis. I was paralyzed on the couch, I kid you not, for a year and a half. 18 months I was on the couch. Life paralysis refers to all the opportunities we miss because we're too afraid to put anything out in the world that could be imperfect. It's also all the dreams that we don't follow because of our deep fear of failing, making mistakes, and disappointing others. It's terrifying to risk when you're a perfectionist. Your self-worth is on the line. And so Oh my goodness. It's different about guilty and shame. Guilty is, you hurt somebody's feeling and you need to make amends. You say you're sorry. Shame is I'm bad. Not I made a poor mistake. It's I am bad, therefore I deserve. And that's where I went with this guy when I was ill and allowed him to help me with my finances. Yes, I don't deserve what happened to me, and I no longer carry the weight of what he did. But what I wasn't doing was owning my part of that relationship, that I would align myself with a guy after 1 week of talking on the phone, and boom, instant relationship. But when you're in it, like I was, with 2 back-to-back men, you just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And the one thing that will set you free is saying it, owning it and accepting it. And that happened to me October of 2020. But it's still, I think even on these lives, I've been showing it as a victim mode. And I was on a seminar last night with Lynn Forrest, which I've read a lot of her stuff on the victim triangle. It was really powerful. And it made me even rethink about that time in my life 6 years ago. Is that relationship was a gift to me to step back and say, Sharon, why are you aligning yourself with any man, good or bad, any man after 1 week on the phone? But that's too painful. Like if I admit that, I have to own it. And so I just won't admit it. And then it slowly kills you. It's in the saying, you know what? I did that. That's where I was in my life. I wasn't healthy emotionally. I shouldn't be dating. But now when you switch it to see what the gift is bringing to you, because life is going to keep giving us the same lesson until we see it as a gift that it is. And you receive that gift and you're like, oh my gosh, now I have this thing when I'm going to start dating, whatever that is, I have self-worth. I know my value. I know what I bring to the relationship. It's like, these are my Tiffany's, right? Expensive. And Sadie got a hold of them. But anyways, these are my sunglasses. Now I'm like, I'm the Tiffany pair of glasses. I mean, like, wow. When you own it and own your feminine power, like you put your Tiffany glasses in this to protect them because they're that valuable. Well, now I am that valuable, and it will attract the right men into your life who see themselves as valuable. But when you see yourself as broken, you attract men who are broken. Men who don't have their masculinity card will come at you with abuse, control, or sex to get their masculinity, which is not bestowed upon them by a woman. It doesn't work that way. And they stay with you trying to get that for themselves. So if you like to think I do, all right, Sharon, what was the 50% I brought to it? And so it's funny when I do all this work and you become self-aware. I was at Walgreens and forever I was on a sleeping medication, and you have to get it the doctor's refill all the time. If it runs out and they don't have it on file, you can't get it. And I don't know, year after year, I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not belonging to myself and taking care of myself. And I'm at the Walgreens drive-thru, and the poor girl, I'm letting her have it. Like, it's her fault that I don't have this. I called it in 2 days ago. And so when you become self-aware, and years later, it takes a practice. So I'm in the drive-thru, and I did it again. I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not putting it on the calendar. When it runs out, Sharon, give yourself a week. You got to get it. You're traveling. And so I got in the drive-thru line, and I'm like, and I was mad again. And I wanted to point the finger and blame. And I'm like, I talk to myself in the car all the time. I'm like, Sharon, you're not a victim. What were you supposed to do? I'm like, I was supposed to write it down on my calendar, or I was supposed to set a timer. I am supposed to take care of me. And so she said something last night about abandoning yourself. Like, nobody can abandon you. So when I was in that relationship, we feel abandoned by men. I abandoned myself when I aligned myself with him. I'm the one who did that to myself. And you can't belong to your own heart if you're just giving your heart to anybody. And when you keep doing that cycle, you accept crumbs, and life just happens to you. And God did not mean for us to live that way. In the past year and a half, my life has been drastically changed. And so I'm super excited to be helping other women. I want to start life coaching and doing more speaking. And it's crazy because I'm dressing different. I'm wearing makeup more. I just bought these pants today. And it's like, this is my color. And I'm wearing makeup and I'm doing my nails. I'm wearing perfume. Like, I haven't worn perfume since I was in my 20s. And I'm like, it's when you step into that female power that God created in women, when you don't see yourself as dirty anymore. And so I'm like, I'm holding men's gaze when I see people, and I'm like, I'm smiling. And when you're in that energy, it's attractive to men when you own it. And so, and I can now flirt with a man at the gas station because I'm no longer dirty. And so I enjoy that interaction. And so it's been really fun because I've been on a masculine energy my entire life until the past 2 years. And so it's also, I got so many of my friends, and even on TikTok, you look younger, you're glowing and stuff. And you carry your shame on the outside of your body. You seriously carry your shame, how you walk, how you carry yourself, how you talk about yourself. And it's not very attractive. And so being in your feminine energy, if you start dating, you can just be yourself, because it's okay. You're okay. You have a fulfilled life if it doesn't work. My old MO was on the hunt for a man. And so I went all in on any man. Like, this is the end all be all. And so now it's like, well, you go on a date and, hey, I know what I bring. And so if it doesn't work out, there's no worry whatsoever. And when you go into a dating situation and you're like that, you don't need anything. You don't need anything from that date. You can truly let your hair down and be silly and just fun and silly. And men love it when you come into the date being yourself, which is fun, which is silly, which is playful. And so anyway, that's where I want to really help women, is changing how they see themselves and helping to get the relationship that they deserve. But know that you've got to fix what was broken first and own it in order to change it. Like, this is the book. Like, this is me owning my stuff. If I don't take it and own it, how can I change it if I don't own it? I don't have it. I don't have it in my hands to claim it as me. So therefore, I never change it. You cannot change what you don't accept and own. It's been a huge, huge learning curve for me. And I'm grateful for every learning lesson, because each lesson I learn, God peels away layers. And then there's more lessons. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. And more layers. And then you get into a flow of, this is not bad. This is actually beautiful. The layers coming off are beautiful because they weren't your authentic self. When you belong to your own heart, you're not pursuing men like that. You're not dating on the first date and going all in. And so you just go about life differently. So I hope that helped. What a time to believe. I don't know if you're still here or not, but let me know if you are. So I'm enjoying playing my drum. I'm leaving to go to Atlanta to take care of my grandkids for almost a week. I'm super excited. It's going to be really cold up there. Good, you are here. I'm so glad you're here. And know that people who show up and hear people, like when I hear people do lives and whatnot, it's like they're talking straight to me. That's a God thing. Like, he puts you in the path of people, and he's done that with me. And it might take some times of getting it. It might take 3 times of reading this book. But these lessons now, with being self-aware of my part, I do lots of colors and journals. And anyways, they have helped. Taking in knowledge is huge for me. I feel like I put myself through school. I just did my new living room space, and I took all my books out of the closet. I wish I would have kept them all that I've read. And then just experiencing them and changing and letting God refine me. And I have taken in knowledge. I have done the work and understanding, so you can have wisdom so you can do it differently. But we stay stuck when we're in shame mode. And it's such a lonely place, because we're all part of humanity. We all fall short. We all miss the mark. And it's part of connection, is you have somebody that you can share that with, and offer each other empathy without judging one another. So anyways, it's been a journey and it's been a process, but to get to where I am today, the girl on the couch in 2019 and 2020, never, ever would have imagined where I am in my life right now and how I see myself, how I carry myself, how I'm living. And one more thing before I hop off, I got 3 minutes. Me doing these daily routines that I'm doing, I'm cooking regularly, which is kind of exciting because I always think about relationships and I'm thinking, when I'm dating and there's been, enough time where a man will be allowed to come into my house to start cooking. These are some of the quickest, yummiest recipes. So there's a couple I've saved that were so simple and so quick. So I'm cooking. I know this sounds crazy, but I never made my bed. I make my bed every day. I have my morning routine, my dog, the coffee, my devotion, the dishes, and I have this routine going in the making of the bed. And now I'm working on my nighttime routine with reading, writing, meditating, and music. There's a line I'm doing. And what I've discovered is I've never been disciplined. I've never been on a schedule. I just lived in chaos. I lived in chaos with 3 sons. People are like, how did you not have a schedule? And I'm like, I just winged it. I mean, I ate breakfast on the way to work for 15 years from 7-Eleven and drug my son with me. And so I stayed in chaos and everything was, what's that word? Not traumatic. Catastrophe. I treated everything like a catastrophe. And it was like I couldn't handle, it's like I didn't have any self-confidence, self-trust built up because I gave my power away. And so I didn't have any confidence in myself that I could do simple tasks. And so I avoided doing them because I'm like, I don't know if I can. And so what I'm doing now is routine, and I'm getting disciplined and regulated in routine. I'm doing the dishes. I've got my music on. And it's just been, I like to talk to myself a lot. And I'm like, wow, this is what's been missing in your life, Sharon, because that's what makes up a life, is the breakfast and the coffee and the dinners. And yes, 2 days ago, it rained all day. I was in my pajamas all day. I let myself off the hook, and I want a chill day. Give yourself grace. I know we need a break, but I was missing the daily routine of having a life, and it's the simple little pleasures that equal a life. And so I'm just really excited about what I'm learning and what God's teaching me, and since I've been on TikTok. So anyways, Sadie keeps getting in my stuff and chewing things up. She got a hold of it's my only little mallet for my music, and so she's had it twice. I ordered some new ones, but so if you like this, I so recommend getting this because it's just learned an instrument 2 years ago. Hey, how are you? Down bud. I can't see without my glasses. This musical instrument, I knew I wanted to learn something. And this new Sharon is coming back to life season. And so, girl, do you want me to hear it? I can play Itsy Bitsy Spider. Yes, so I do it for that. I do my own little, you find a riff and you got to remember what you did. Time, and it's like 15 minutes of it's the vibration, it's the zen, it's the calming of my spirit. But now I'm doing little nursery rhymes. I've learned 7. The Itsy Bitsy Spider and Old MacDonald were really hard, but that's the old Sharon would have never done this. I would have never tried something new, and then I would have, maybe if I did, I probably would have, knowing me in my past, I would have done it for a week or 2. And because the self-confidence wasn't built up, I shuck it. I bring something new into, I shuck it. I get in that middle of whatever it is, the playing of the drum, the season, the whatever. There's a beginning, middle, and an end. And I get in that middle where growth happens and I go backwards. So therefore, I'm never building up confidence in myself. And so now that I've been doing this, this is part of my evening. I don't watch TV. But now I've become curious. I brought a 6-hole flute. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love flute music. Flute music has been huge therapy. I have it all the time on. Yes. Can you do that? You can play that? Because that is so healing music. When I had my cast on, my friend turned me on to Native American flute music. And it was such a healing force, but the flute is so pretty. I thought about trying that. But the new Sharon takes it farther. And I'm like, it's not hard at all. I take things farther now. And I'm like, I become curious. Like, I want to try this. I want to try something new. And when I've been doing this and learned my first song, and I literally have learned 7 songs. And it's just so empowering to be curious and to try things that are new. Try different makeup, try different colors. I just bought these pants today because all my pants are falling off me, literally. And I'm like, these are the colors that I really like to wear. And so the 2 pants that were on sale, both are part of this. And so, I don't know, I stopped doing all those fun girly things. Love you, falling in love with you. Yes, goodness gracious. It's like, it's so sweet, especially the feminine energy, thinking about relationships and dating one time soon or whenever God wants it to happen. I just think about the woman that I am and that I know I can be in front of a man. Owning your power is almost like, it's seductive. It's like tantalizing when you understand the man's masculinity and female energy. But yes, falling in love with yourself had to happen, or I would have kept on the same merry-go-round. And now I like to be curious, try different things. I'm trying different makeup, my hair. I just got my hair cut today. I told the lady, I'm like, my hair, this is my natural color, and it's gray, and it's got this old brown in it right here. But for some reason, I thought it was the camera on TikTok, because I'm like, my hair is like looking like this funky yellow. And so, as in yellow. And so when she cut my hair, she's like, your hair is getting like blonde again. And I'm like, I know, it's crazy. And so anyways, every time I get my hair cut, I changed hairdressers when my son got married and I had really short hair. And so they didn't see me for a while because I grew it out because of COVID. And it's just so crazy. It's just part of my transformation. I wear my hair super short, athletic clothes, real strong presence to avoid off men because I couldn't take care of myself. And so it's a cool energy to step into when you become soft and feminine and vulnerable and playful and falling in love with yourself. That's how I started painting. I mean, just like that, it happened. And yet it's been happening these past 8 years. God and me doing all this stuff. He was building foundational layers, but I needed to be active, applying the wisdom. And still every day applying the wisdom, giving myself grace. And one thing too, and I'm going to wrap it up, is I laugh. I laugh constantly. I had water with me all day today. And I've had a bad habit of not putting the lid back on. I do it at work when I sub with little kids and like, Miss Simmons, every time I put it on the ground, they're like, Miss Simmons. And so I put it on the counter. This is loud when it hits the ground. And the whole thing came crashing down on the floor at Loft Taylor, wherever I was. And it got it all over me. And I'm not embarrassed. I'm not humiliated. I grew my hair out too. Hold on. I grew my hair out too. Yes. Well, the crazy thing is that why you did it? Did you know that's why you were doing it? When you grew it out, like I grew it out because of COVID, but it was happening the same time. Yes. Well, so, and that's kind of cool though. So yes, my athletic, physical, strong body, my short hair, no makeup. I was like creating this very masculine posture, which men are like, no. And it's just crazy how my appearance has changed just since TikTok, even just starting with my hair. So, and it's crazy how when you're feminine and you feel feminine and you own your power and your beauty, it just radiates off you. And it, you know, it's reflected back to you when you go in a room, and I can feel my energy like in the room. And so it's a huge difference than how I was. I remember this journey probably started almost 10 years ago. I started group counseling with a bunch of women, the same women. One guy, he was so knowledgeable in his how a female acts, how a man acts, the father daughter, the different types of dynamics. And then one time we had to go around the room and say something about everybody. And I'm always like, I was coming off playing 2 hours of tennis or swimming a mile, my athletic clothes on, a very physically strong body with all the things I do with sports. And they got around to me and they're like, well, you're intimidating. And I'm thinking, like, I didn't get that. I didn't see it. And Michael's like, you're like a tiger. Like, you look at you when you walk in here with this place, with this posture of, I don't need anybody. And it's funny, I had somebody when I was working on the playground for 12 years, and I was crying, when I was falling apart, and I was telling her something about myself, and they were just, they didn't know that about me, because I walk around like this. And Bitsy was her name. She goes, Sharon, look at you. You're absolutely gorgeous, and you walk around this campus like you don't need anybody. And I just went, oh. Here it was, I thought, I'm trying to prove everybody else that I have it all together when my life is falling apart. Thank you. My life was falling apart, and yet I'm walking around like this strong female, inner masculine energy, which kept this protection by my appearance. And so that moment when she said, you walk around this campus like you don't need anybody. And that's what shame does. It keeps us isolated. It keeps us from connection. We're broken in relationships, but we are also healed in relationships. And when you could meet somebody in a relationship, whether it be friends or romantic or business, when you can have that connection of being yourself, and I don't know, it's just a cool place to be. So it's been a great journey. I appreciate you guys for showing up. And if you ever have any questions, just feel free to ask, or you want me to talk about. I feel like I'm trying to talk about certain things, and God just kind of takes me a different way. Last night, I think I talked to myself for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm off. And some nights I'm on a roll, but I really want to talk about feminine energy in relationships and what men find attractive in women, and how the energies feed off one another. When you have a woman in her female energy who enjoys being a woman and can be seductive, you're automatically sensual because you're born a woman. And when you're not feeling dirty anymore, you're actually sexy without even knowing it. And when you're like that in the presence of a real man, it draws out his masculine energy, and he wants to be a man for you. And I think women, and I know myself, had it all wrong all this time, but a lot of people don't believe that way. But how God made us to interact with one another, and how much we, behind every great man is a great woman that breathes life into them. But she comes with her power of her femininity, and it's a back and forth between the seduction of a man and a woman, and dating and the courting, how it should be and how it will be for me when I start that process. So anyways, it's been a great journey, but I have my big old notes over here. I have a big old notepad I bought, so I'm not even looking at those today, because God kind of took me about belonging to myself. And when I entered that relationship with that man for a year, I abandoned myself by aligning myself with him. After 1 week on the phone, instant everything. And that's so shameful, because I felt like I deserved it, and then I walked in it. Yes, I used to have that, but some heartbreaks at my back. Yes, well, I never had this energy that I have now. I kid you not. 30 years of marriage, and I was in my masculine. I just stayed in my masculine energy. I didn't understand about being a woman because of things that had happened growing up. I was dirty. And I carried that with me. It's just crazy how that's been taken off. I shared 2 nights ago about having eye contact with men. I'm finally able to look in the mirror now. yes, when you abandon yourself, it's a hard pill to swallow. When I entered a relationship that I shouldn't have been in to begin with, that's all on me. And when you abandon yourself, you don't belong to your heart. Like, you don't belong to your heart. And that's the part of these books that I'm doing about codependency and victimhood, and Brene Brown about shame. When you own your story, I did what I did. I only did what I had the bandwidth to do. That I held that. It was like I was the whip behind me, punishing myself, punishing. And so I never fought back. I just stayed down because the voice of shame and fear would beat me about my choices I made. And now that I've said it, I've shared my story with many different people, and it's like, all right, it's gone. So, but I finally realized it was also from last night, my 2-hour session with Lynn Forrest on the victim triangle. She is so knowledgeable. And so I really had to rethink my story about that I'm sharing about this man. He did what he did, that's on him. I did what I did, is I aligned myself instantly with a man who, what's who? This was 6 years ago. I was feeling like life was shame game and just got angry and shut it down. Yeah, we do shut down. I shut that down. That was 6 years ago when I was ill. This Christmas was 6 years. Matter of fact, what's today's date? Yeah, 6 years ago, I was just coming, the workshop. It was with Lynn Forrest on shame, vulnerability, but hers is about codependency and victimhood. It's the victim triangle. Look up Lynn, Lynne, Forrest. Punch in her name and pull up her victim triangle. And you read that about being a victim, or the triangle. The victim is here, and we think we're two separate people. One is the persecutor and one's the enabler. And you do this dance and you stay on this triangle of victimhood. And it's crazy because I've learned all of this about this. I'm absorbing it. I'm curious. I'm learning. And I still have to watch my victim consciousness or how I say things. And because the minute I say it, I'm like, no, Sharon, no. You don't own it. When you don't own it, you don't belong to your heart. That's the biggest sentence over everything. If you don't own it, you don't belong to your heart, because that was part of me. Those poor choices and this woman were the same. And I kept them apart. And I was always in my darkness. But the only thing that can drive out darkness is light, not more darkness. But you have to be vulnerable to the dark side. It's just crazy that the bits and pieces the past 8 years that God has been accumulating and then pulling my roots up where they needed to be pulled up. But I kept, when I look back, all I saw was how hard and painful those lessons were, instead of the beauty of the gifts they were teaching me, things that my heart and soul needed. And now I receive it as a gift, and I say thank you to it, because I am who I am today, not despite of it, but because of it. And I had a really cool, you are doing so much, yes. And I'm so excited because I met with my ex. We were talking about alimony and changing it. Everything was cool. Everything was good. But I got myself worked up. But I'm like, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. I need to, like, I was going through the back 30 years and what I learned and why, whatever. And I sat down, and it's just like, I sat down and thought, just let him talk. And I just sat there. And I'm like, wow. This is what it means. You're welcome. I just love sharing. I love storytelling. I was so proud of myself because I just, the need to explain and to be understood, we don't need that. I did not need what I wanted to share. That was for me, what I learned. It wasn't for him. I mean, we've been divorced 8 years ago. And so I just sat there. I was composed. I was in this new energy. And so it was like a cool victory. It was like, I always do this, a little happy dance. And when I do cool things, I celebrate them now. I don't judge myself. And if I were to make a mistake, I don't judge myself. I do a lot of this. Like, woohoo, girl, dang, girl, check you out. I like to tell everybody, my friends, is I need you to look in the mirror every day and go, dang, girl, check you out. How? Yes, and I took the video down. Yes, thank you. I took the video down because I thought, no, there's some videos I put up and like, no, I didn't want that out there. And so it was out there. And I thought, no, I don't want that video on there. So I took it down. But yeah, it was victorious for me. I was in my energy and I owned it. And I didn't have to explain or dig up everything because it wasn't necessary. So thank you for asking. I appreciate you ladies. So I'm going to be doing this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8:15. However, I'm going to be with my grandkids next week, so I'll try, but they're going to bed around 8:30, so I don't know if I'm going to do it. When I'm with them, I like to shut down my other life, but I'm going to try. So tonight, I'll do it tomorrow night for sure. And yeah, I'm loving doing this. But however, the place, yeehaw, the place that I'm going to start doing stand-up comedy, like, I kid you not. And so I thought I found a place local, but it wasn't. So I've been talking to in Orlando, this improv place. And so they have on Wednesday nights where it's open mic, 5 minutes. And so they said they weren't going to start back up till January. So I haven't gotten back with them. If they are, I've stopped doing lives on Wednesday because I'm going to go start doing stand-up comedy. And I think that will help me on so many levels. But when you laugh about it and you look back and you just laugh, you learn to laugh. And so there's so much comedy in my story. It's not even funny. I feel like God created me to be a storyteller. Have y'all done the Enneagram test? I'm a number 7 on the Enneagram test, entertaining optimist. And so I'm like, you know what? The drum, the music, I want more. I want more to life and belonging to my heart and seeing what can I do next? Like, what can I do next? And so, anyways, I'm going to shut it down. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I always look for I can see your little colors of your face, and then your green little F. Why don't you put a picture up? I want all the women to put a picture up. And it's been fun because Marsha's been with me, and God gave me her, and she's been amazing to me and me to her, and we're just two. God aligned us so perfectly together, and she is just like, when she hears my story, she's like, she doesn't know that Sharon, she only has known this Sharon, and so she just looks at me like, I can't picture that, and so it's really funny. So, but I'm gonna go. It's 9:05. I told myself 30 minutes, but I'm enjoying chatting with you guys and having a connection here on TikTok. So I love y'all ladies. Thank you so much for showing up for me, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 8:15. And not sure what I'm going to talk about, but more about belonging to your own heart and your feminine energy. All right, bye guys. Thanks. You're welcome. Thank you. Y'all are a blessing to me. So bye. Hair looks beautiful. Thank you. I just got it cut today. It's changing colors on me. Bye. I hope y'all come tomorrow night. And eventually, let me know before I turn off. I want to start doing Zooms, like practicing my life coaching with ladies that are willing to get on the computer and pop up with our little faces on there. And I want to do Zooms to have more connection and more time with ladies and share our stories together. So that's what is on the horizon for me, is doing that, which is super exciting. I was trying to do that 6 months ago and trying to do a Facebook group, but I had to step back for a little bit. Yay, yes. Would y'all do that? Yes. I mean, I got to figure out how to do it, but I can do it now. I'll learn how to do the Zoom. And I'm going to get phone numbers and whatnot and figure out how to send the Zoom link. And then, like, Monday night, one night, it will be the same night, same time, and who can come, and we can bless one another, encourage one another, and I get to practice my gift, which is sharing and helping women, which is my passion. It could be, hold on. Oh, it could be the chlorine. Oh, well, but I don't color my hair at all. But I do. I'm in the pool all the time swimming, and I never put anything on my hair, but it's just gotten blonder instead of grayer. Like, she even said it. She goes, Sharon, your hair's turning blonde. And I'm like, I know, I kept looking at the side when the sun hits it on the videos. I'm like, what is my hair color? But yes, I'm in the pool all the time. I've been swimming for 23 years now. So anyways, so yes, to the Zoom. And I'm going to work on that this next 2 weeks and then give a date. And that's the new thing I have to do to myself. I just can't talk about it. I got to be about it. I just can't talk about it. I need to do it. And so I will work on that. And then after I get back from my trip, we'll talk about it on our lives. And I will get doing that once a week. And I'm super excited about it. So thank you, ladies, for coming and hanging out with me and spending your evening. There could be so many other things you're doing. So you are a gift to me that I get to practice my gift with and have connection with ladies all over the place. So love you guys. See you tomorrow night at 8:15. Bye.